The New England Patriots might not currently know the future of their own head coach with Bill Belichick that we will figure out later this week. Now, we did already touch upon the rumors and really what to expect currently from Bill Belichick after his talk with Robert Kraft. So if you haven't checked that video out, go ahead and check it out. But today we're going to be talking about how former New England Patriots star linebacker who won 3 Super Bowls with the team and is former Tennessee Titans head coach Mike Vrabel is very interested in joining the New England Patriots coaching staff, more specifically as the next head coach should Bill Belichick leave. As always, guys, I am Colby Cochran with Patriots Global. Today, we're going to be breaking down everything we know about this storyline, about Mike Vrabel wanting to join the Patriots. Is he a good candidate? And ultimately, what do I think of the move if it does happen? So, without further ado, let's just roll that Patriots Global intro as I stall a little bit to find it. But let's roll that Patriots Global intro and hop into today's video. Now, we've had a couple different sources already coming out talking about Mike Vrabel to the Patriots, okay? This is an actual thing that is happening. It's funny because Mike Vrabel actually had reported interest in the New England Patriots and joining this staff even before the Tennessee Titans actually made a final decision on him, which is, I thought, just super funny, right? Like, they ended up letting go of Mike Vrabel, but how much of the Tennessee Titans letting go of him was them wanting to let go of him versus how much of it was Mike Vrabel saying, I quite honestly just do not want to be here. And if I can go ahead and coach my old team, I would very much like to do so. But you had Jordan Schultz from Bleacher Report coming out and saying, as the Tennessee Titans weigh head coach Mike Vrabel's future this week, he's interested in the idea of returning to the Patriots should New England part ways with Bill Belichick. And then obviously a day later, they end up actually releasing Mike Vrabel, or rather firing him. And then we also had Cam Marino reporting the same thing, saying the expectation is that former Titans head coach Mike Vrabel will be the top candidate for the New England Patriots head coaching job, assuming that it becomes available. Mike Vrabel right now is the hottest name in terms of head coaching, right? Everybody's talking about Bobby Slowick. Everybody's talking about Ben Johnson, Eric Bieniemy. There is going to be a lot of interest for Mike Vrabel. And right now, as it stands, he is the top candidate for the head coaching position out of anybody on the market right now. There's going to be a lot of teams that are interested in Vrabel, but it really seems like because of the interest on the Patriots part, because there was reported interest on the New England Patriots side of things as a mutual interest, that if they do move on from Belichick and they offer the job to Vrabel, that Vrabel essentially knows exactly where he's going. He's going to accept the job in New England if it's given. Now, believe it or not, Mike Vrabel hasn't actually been a head coach in the NFL for as long as I thought. He became the head coach of the Tennessee Titans only back in 2018. That was the season where the New England Patriots went on to win Super Bowl 53. I don't know why, but I personally thought that he was a head coach there for a few more years than he actually was. But despite arriving in 2018, he took the Tennessee Titans to 4 consecutive winning seasons, again, after he arrived there in 2018. The reason that they're moving on, the reason that he's essentially getting fired, which, like I said earlier, I don't know how much of it was the final say was them wanting to move on versus him wanting to move on, because we know that he hasn't been happy with the organization in Tennessee. But over the last 2 seasons, they've had back-to-back seasons now where they've been under 500. Unfortunately, very similar to what we have had here in New England. Now, to make matters a little bit more interesting here from Mike Vrabel, again, despite only being a head coach in the NFL for a few years, he was able to take the Tennessee Titans to a championship game. And only back in 2021, he was voted head coach of the year, or coach of the year. From 2018 to 2021, Mike Vrabel's record was 41 and 24. From 2022 to 2023, so over the last 2 seasons, his record is 13 and 21. I think a lot of people hearing Mike Vrabel and hearing the downfall of the Tennessee Titans, immediate thought is going to be, well, what about A.J. Brown? That's essentially what led to this downfall. After they traded A.J. Brown and they tried to go Treylon Burks, they were just never the same team. They were not this competitive team anymore. And believe it or not, that decision was not on Mike Vrabel. Unlike here in New England, Mike Vrabel doesn't have final say. Mike Vrabel doesn't make the decisions with personnel. He is the guy that is scheming things up every single week. He's coming up with the game plans. Unlike Bill Belichick, Belichick has everything go through him. He gets the final say. He's making the moves on personnel. He's making the moves with the coaching staff. The decision to move on from A.J. Brown was the general manager's decision with the Tennessee Titans and was actually not Mike Vrabel's decision. Mike Vrabel was very vocally open that if it was up to him, A.J. Brown would have gotten a contract extension. But again, because that final say did not come down to him, they ultimately traded A.J. Brown to the Philadelphia Eagles. I believe in 2021 it was, in that draft. And then they unfortunately were never the same. And it's very clear that Mike Vrabel understands the assignment here in New England. He understands the atmosphere. He knows what is expected. Again, being a former player and still keeping track of where this team has at. I mean, he's beaten us several times over the last few years that the New England Patriots have played the Tennessee Titans. Again, going back to Bill Belichick's issues beating his own disciples. But just a couple of months ago, when he was here, being honored when he was inducted into the Patriots Hall of Fame, during the halftime of the New England Patriots Buffalo Bills game at home, where New England actually won that one, Mike Vrabel had something very interesting to say to Patriots fans. He said, and I quote, "I want you to not take this organization for granted. I've been a lot of places. This is a special place with great leadership, great fans, great direction, great coaching. Enjoy it. It's not like this everywhere else," which I think was a little bit of shade to the Tennessee Titans, but really also letting us Patriots fans know that we've had it good. Don't take what we have had for granted. But because he knows what this organization has been through, he knows that if he becomes the head coach here in New England, that it has to be something that is taken very seriously and that he has to put this team back into contention like we. And I know that a lot of you probably already commented this in the comment section but before I even got to talk about it, but a lot of you are probably saying, I don't want Mike Vrabel. I want an offensive-minded coach if Bill Belichick does move on. I want Bobby Slowick. I want Ben Johnson. And unfortunately, I'm here to tell you that that is extremely, extremely unlikely. It truly does sound like the top three most likely candidates that will be your New England Patriots head coach in 2024 are going to be Bill Belichick, Mike Vrabel, or Gerard Mayo. The reality of things, according to every single report, there is no report saying that Robert Kraft is going to, if they move on from Belichick, is going to conduct interviews outside of the organization. But every single report has said the exact opposite, that they are going to build from within. They are going to pick from the New England Patriots tree in order to continue the Patriots way, even if Belichick moves on. They do not want to start completely fresh, like a lot of us have said. They don't want to scrap everything and start the Patriots way 2.0. They want to find a way to mix the 2000 to 2010 New England Patriots way that built the best dynasty and franchise in football history, maybe even in sports history, and somehow find a way to mix that with a modern day NFL. That's what they want to do. And unfortunately, Bill Belichick hasn't been able to give them that because Belichick is trying to mix just 2000s to 2010s Patriot way and is trying to implement that while not trying to find a modernized way to combine the two. Mike Vrabel is a guy that actually might be able to do both of those things. Now, look, I've also been on the record to say that I would have liked to see the Patriots go an offensive minded way, but I also have been on the record saying that I don't think it's as important as some Patriots fans do. If they go with Mike Vrabel or they go with Gerard Mayo or just a defensive minded coach, it doesn't mean the end. Look at D'Amico Ryans. He was a defensive-minded coach. He was a defensive player, a linebackers coach in the NFL. Look what he was able to do with Tank Dell and CJ Stroud in just 1 year. They have one of the best, most prolific, one of the most uprising offenses in the NFL. Look at John Harbaugh. Yes, they've consistently had elite defenses, but they also have Lamar Jackson. They have one of the most prolific offenses in the NFL. Just because you have a defensive-minded coach does not mean that your offense is going to be terrible. You just need a head coach who is going to listen, who is going to build the coaching staff around him with the positional coaches in the correct way, and then is going to leave it up to those guys, is going to rely and depend on those guys to take the reins of the offense. Whether that's Bill O'Brien, whether that's Josh McDaniels, or whoever the offensive coordinator is going to be, you just have to put trust in Mike Vrabel in this case, or whoever the Patriots head coach is next year, to essentially believe in those guys enough and put it in their hands. It just comes down to getting the right guy. Just like bringing in an offensive-minded coach doesn't mean that you are going to have a top 5 offense in the NFL. It doesn't mean you now have a prolific quarterback, a prolific wide receiver. That's not what that means. You just have to do things the right way. If Vrabel comes in here, how he can turn this offense around is that you get a new offensive line coach who's been proven to be able to make an actual impact, because this thing where the New England Patriots are on like their 4th offensive line coach now in back-to-back years is not okay. You get a new wide receivers coach. You get a quarterbacks coach for the first time that the Patriots have had since 2021 in Mac's rookie year. You get a mentor veteran quarterback to help your young quarterback. And then you draft a quarterback in the first round with your top pick in this upcoming draft. Then you make sure you have a solidified running game so that not all the weight is put on your young quarterback. That was the problem this year, is that even last year too, in 2022, is that essentially after Mac's rookie year, Belichick said, okay, you are officially not a rookie. You are a veteran. Despite being on a rookie deal, I'm going to throw everything at you that Tom Brady had to do in his final years here in New England, which just was not realistic. And now this brings up the final question before we log off for the day. Do I want to see Mike Vrabel come here? I'm not going to lie. Mike Vrabel is not my favorite option for the New England Patriots. But at the end of the day, Mike Vrabel is only a piece to the pie. It's not like it is with Belichick, like I said earlier, to where you have a head coach and a general manager. The Patriots, if they do sign Mike Vrabel, yes, that is a step in the right direction. But if you want to have a solidified coaching staff, you want to have a solidified roster, that is going to come from the general manager. That is arguably the most important thing that the Patriots are going to have to address this offseason, is going to be the general manager position if they move on from Belichick. And I really don't think it is head coach like everybody else is saying, because if Mike Vrabel comes in, if Gerard Mayo comes in, they're not going to have those same responsibilities as Bill. A general manager is going to need to have those, and I don't want that guy to be Matt Groh, because that's already a disaster. I am growing on the idea of having Mike Vrabel with the Patriots. I'm not against the Patriots still having the Patriots way, still trying to implement some of the qualities that they've had in here over the last 2 decades. I don't think that's a problem. It made them the best dynasty in football for 20 years. But they have to be able to find a way to mix those and also make this a modernized NFL. There is a blueprint. Look at the Dolphins. Look at the Rams. Look at the Chiefs. Look at the Texans. Take some of those playbooks, or excuse me, take some of the plays that they did this offseason and try to implement that here in New England. I think if they're able to do that, then it's the perfect scenario for the Patriots for this offseason, because Mike Vrabel is a very dominant defensive-minded coach. Mike Vrabel is a very good game planning coach. And quite honestly, that's probably the best option you're going to get if you do move on from Bill Belichick. You just need a guy who's then going to build the roster the right way. But what are your guys' thoughts here on Mike Vrabel? Patriots having interest in him having interest in the Patriots. Now that he's released, he decides where he's going to go. Patriots won't have to give up anything if they do want to ultimately sign him. What do you guys think, though? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember, leave a big like on this video, and of course, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. I appreciate you guys for watching as always, and of course, most importantly, never forget